Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Play Combat Mission Barbarossa Berlin. So this is the Christmas battle going into turn 20. The last episode we ended with this T-37 scout tank rumbling along the bank of this icy river, making contact with the enemy who was able to shoot at it. I don't know where the enemy is, but who was able to shoot at it with some kind of anti-tank round, so need to take care of him. And here in the south, this is south actually, we are doing area target on all the buildings suspected of harboring some Italians. Worked so far, so we are continuing to do that. In the north, we are waiting for the scout tanks to arrive and support the infantry. Yeah, it's kind of slow, but it's gonna come. So this is where the battle is going to happen the most, and we're going to continue to, discover the defenders and trying to fight them off with overwhelming force, which I believe to be the only edge that the Soviets have so far. Yeah, so I have decided to kind of cancel the movement here on the infantry and just focus on shooting the heck out of the... Oh, actually I did order the infantry to move on all fronts. But yeah, shooting the heck out of the buildings that I suspect of having anti-tank crew or something. And then same goes for in the south. We have discovered some infantry defenders there, so the tank are going to use a force to now directly aim at it instead of area fire. So area fire does this, does reveal the enemy first, and then you can close in and then use the main gun or machine gun to aim directly. So that's the method that works so far in this blizzard condition, extreme weather condition. That I really can't see anything. The defender has disappeared, so since I have gave them the direct order, they are kind of idle. But here, they're able to see, thankfully see this defender running toward the objective, trying to defend this this flag, and the machine guns are following him. Yeah, so the infantry is also moving up, and here in the central part, they are being met with some heavy fire, machine gun fire. So these guys are now scattered, trying to come back to the confines of the comfy rough patches here where they can get some cover. The machine gunners are trying its best to support the infantry, but it's only area fire, so you cannot directly target the enemy. And here we are shooting at the buildings where... Oh, actually we found the infantry that was responsible for firing at this T-37. Still being fired upon, I think, but the T-37 itself was able to identify the target. It's turning slowly with its machine gun. And in the north, we are moving up a bit. But here is where the action is the fiercest. The T-37 is still aiming, and this guy is shooting. Very happy that he made the shot. No serious damage, fortunately, because I guess it's only a two-man vehicle. There's really not a lot of area for the bullet to end or something, or it can even disable the T-37. When it's being aimed at the top, he has to aim at the bottom to maybe knock out its tread or something. Okay, so turn 21, we are moving to try and support the T-37 because we only think that the house only has like a one anti-tank crew, so maybe the infantry will be able to overwhelm it. In the south, we are doing area target since the enemy has kind of retreated to the objective flag. So we are targeting obviously the objective flag using the area target, using multiple tanks, while the other tanks behind it or out of the line of sight of the objective is trying to move. And I'm trying to move the T-26 here through the barbed wire. But for here, these guys are now just pummeling this building right now. Not really that accurate, but still I think it's going to have some suppressive effect. Here, the T-26 I mentioned. I need to focus on it. Yeah, so still shooting, and that is pretty accurate. I don't know whether the infantry inside is being affected, but surely it's going to be suppressed. High explosive shells bursting in the, these small confines, going to really rattle the bones. And here we are trying to still target the anti-tank rifle, anti-tank crew. So the leader T-34 is moving up to try to challenge it directly. I don't think he has enough firepower to knock the T-34 out, maybe immobilize it. Yeah, so still targeting the objectives. The infantry is being supportive as they move up gingerly through the cover. Yeah, it's really nice, I guess, setup for the infantry. Right, so here is the anti-tank guy. I don't know whether he has enough. Oh, actually, he is still aiming at the T-37. I think it was hit or just missed. And the infantry is now following suit, trying to climb up that hill to challenge the anti-tank directly and maybe take that building for themselves. Then move to the church objective. Okay, so another penetration happened, but no serious damage. That T-37 is either very lucky or that anti-tank rifle doesn't have enough caliber to penetrate fully the tank. Yeah, so we are trying to battle the newfound defender in the south. I think in the north we are still moving and then closing in. The T-37 has not arrived yet to support the infantry, so we are waiting. As you can see, we are moving up a bit, but yeah, using the T-37 to come as quickly as possible. Yeah, most of them are hiding in the snow, so I don't think the Italians will be able to really figure out where we are, let alone we cross the road in order to flank them. Here we are just pouring everything in toward the toward that position where the anti-tank was found. And here this is just, I think, a normal Italian squad. And we found these guys, and I think he was able to defeat some of the advancing Soviet troops. So now we are using the tanks, obviously, to support it. So the rest of tanks are also going down the road here to try to support the rest of the infantry. And here, I forgot to mention, the T-26 is trying to cross into the barbed wire in order to get onto the road. I'm sure that there are some anti-tank mines strewn about here, and I'm thinking that maybe if I'm on top of the barbed wire, then there will be no anti-tank mines below it. So I'm using the T-26 to try to, blaze a path so that other tanks can move in to the road unscathed. So yeah, it was a machine gun. They think it's a machine gun, so yeah, it's a machine gun. I don't know exactly what it is because of the extreme fog of war, but yeah, this is a machine gun and it is being driven out into the cold, hard reality of Russian winter storm. And I think, yeah, these guys are more or less... this is pretty strange. The T-34 was to shoot something, but it was not either heavy... It was not a high explosive shell, it was more of a grape shot or some kind of shotgun shell. I've never seen that before, but it apparently did its job. It really stopped the infantry cold in its tracks and helped it being eliminated. Here we are seeing, this advanced party being checked by the Italian defender. I don't think he is in the snow, but the sound contact places him in the snow right in front of the Russian troop. And the anti-tank is holding up most of our units here near the church. Thankfully, some infantry are closing the distance. The barbed wire does give a bit of a good idea about how to approach the road without being targeted by the anti-tank mine. And here, busting the objective. Just opening a can or something. The kind of scorched earth tactic, but I guess the Italians defending it, whether if they're alive or not, will be exposed to cold, so might give us some more time or more turns to approach it. Yeah, but then the building was basically destroyed and now it's being smoking, so I guess it also gives us a bit of a cover as we approach the objective. It's pretty brute force method, but I guess we have plenty of shells to do whatever we want, cause a lot of destruction. And we are trying to see whether we can find some defenders in there, but the line of sight doesn't reveal anything, so just doing area of effect, area of attack. once again. And I think we found the defender here in the second floor of the church. There will be some, yeah, it's being targeted right now. So we are in for some uphill fight, uphill battle when the infantry is concerned. And I have to move the tanks up in order to support it because I don't think the infantry can do it all by itself. It's very well defended and it's heavy building. T-37 in the north finally making its way toward the infantry, while the rest of the infantry in a hiding position. So let's just try to see whether we can find or take the first objective for ourselves. Yeah, so we are pouring in the shots here. Near the church, you're being shot at. And there's yet another defender being revealed. So they can see us trying to climb up the hill, poking our heads out. And anti-tank is suitably being suppressed. So that's a good thing for the tanks as they move up to support the infantry. The KB-1 also makes movement. I'm kind of afraid to, I don't know, I'm afraid at all times whether it's going to get bogged down. And some of the soldiers here have been damaged, being injured, and one of them has been driven back in panic. And tanks are not able to see the enemy, unfortunately. Another building with the anti-tank inside it, busted open. I don't know whether it's going to affect the effectiveness of the anti-tank or whether we can more easily drive it out. The thought is that, oh, this guy's really in big trouble. Yeah, this guy's routed. And here as well, the smoke clears and this guy pops back up and then sees this Russian guy now on top of him. I don't know what's going to happen. There'll be some hand-to-hand combat between the troops. We were able to close the distance pretty well and there's some supporting fire behind it, but I mean, this being blizzard weather might as well be a friendly fire situation. Better be very careful. I think the infantry might as well just plop back down and then wait for the other guys or tanks to suppress it. Okay, so T-37, some of them arrived and then now trying to scout for the rest of the infantry, while the infantry there on the left side is trying to also make some move, because I think given the pace of the attacks right now, given the amount of resistance that we are facing in the church area, I think I will not be able to cover everywhere using these troops, so I need to make the move using the northern troops as well. Yeah, so here we are trying to fight off the defenders, and here is the most important area, I think, for us to actually capture the first objective. Yeah, some supporting fire, plenty of guns to fire at the defender. And now the flag changes hands, I guess, because of overwhelming presence of Russians here. We are being shot at, but then we throw a grenade. Not really that accurate, but at least it stopped the fighting for now as we close the distance further to truly get into hand-to-hand combat situation. Okay, so anti-tank, despite being in the blasted building, still be able to shoot. Has a presence of mind and skill to shoot at the T-34. So I think we are undeterred because I believe that, okay, a shot once again, it stops the T-34 cold, but we are undeterred because we believe that we have enough armor. And yet another building explodes. I think that T-26 is armed with the field weapon because it just exploded like it was armed with some C4 or like few kilograms of TNT. Okay, so first objective taken. We found this guy eliminated. I guess the grenade did a trick. Yeah, once again, we are being shot at and we are firing back, but it's kind of hard. This guy stayed on though, so that's pretty good. And the T-37 is rolling forward. Yeah, it's pretty interesting vehicle. I don't think I ever seen it before. I saw B-10s as a scout car, but this guy has a low profile and it's amphibious, so it's pretty unique light tank. I think it was manufactured in the interim period between the First and Second World War, 1930s. Yeah, so this guy's making a bit of move, trying to put some squeeze on the defenders and see what they have here. Kind of curious. They have a lot of barbed wires and stuff like that, so they obviously knew we are coming and prepared. Here we see, yeah, I mean, the anti-tank is still alive, surprisingly so, and we are trying to take over the building we believe to be empty. We shot at it to almost, yeah, we basically blasted it, but still standing, so we are using that as a bit of a cover to fight anybody who's in the church. Across the bridge, we took the first objective, and now we are moving. We are moving north using the tanks, trying to support the infantry as they try to make their way into the buildings. Yeah, so everybody's moving now. I think I need to place some squad there though in order to protect the objective, because you never know who's hiding under the brush over yonder. Okay, we are being shot at, or we are just sneaking? Yeah, we are just sneaking. We're not being shot at. And this guy moves forward as the other tank supports this guy's charge, and surprisingly enough was able to find this guy sneaking out. The T-34 is known to have poor vision, especially in this kind of weather. Just had that feel, I guess. And once again, shooting a very interesting grape shot kind of shotgun shells. Never seen that before, and I don't think it's going to do well for the barrel of the tank, but I think it's really effective against infantry. Yeah, it's like a shotgun shell being propelled out with the velocity of a tank shell, so I think it's going to be not pretty if the infantry gets in the way. This guy tries to run up toward the cover, but that was checked by the defender. And here we see some okay, so we see some gun firing here, and it's a high explosive shell that basically forced the troops to drop to the ground. And the second shot, and it reveals the source of that fire, which is a light gun on the Italian side. We immediately pour in the small arms fire from everywhere. Fortunately, we are able to see it. And here as well, the T-37 is able to shoot it from the back, so he's suitably suppressed. Pretty lucky that, you know, the first shot didn't connect, and we were able to check it immediately. So at least, even in this extreme fog of war, we were able to see it and then shoot at it in its general direction. Alright, so turn 26. Yeah, the turns are really happening quickly. The light gun is our source of immediate concern here. I think we are getting on top of it though, without problem, and the rest of the troops are following suit, trying to close in. The primary target, it was only infantry, yeah, trying to close the distance. And then pretty lucky that I didn't send any tanks there, because you have been able to destroy some tanks if we encountered it using T-26s or even T-34s. Alright, so we are moving unopposed basically in the south toward the bridge. But there are some defenders there, so we need to watch out. Here I think we have no cause for concern. Just a matter of time, I think. Alright, so light gun is abandoned. Yeah, this guy had enough. The defense is collapsing now. I think that gave the Italians a cue to rush out their entrenched positions. Pretty weird how the AI acts, as if to counterattack. Although they know that multitude of guys here are just overwhelming them in numbers, coming out into the cold, just out into the open against oncoming machine gun fire and all these infantry. Doesn't really make sense, but I guess it just mathematically calculated or something in order to weigh the chances, and I think the computer thought that this was their best chance to resist, I guess, or stop us from getting to the objective. Alright, so we are still pouring the machine gun fire, resisting shooting main gun into the church because it may destroy it, and then it's going to create a mess of the situation because of the Italians in the rubble. Might be even more entrenched than, you know, using the infantry to rush the church. And we find another defender eliminated, so the area of fire did work once again. And here another anti-tank rifle from somewhere, I don't know where exactly. Oh, okay, we find the anti-tank crew right there. But then it's not even enough to knock out the T-26 from the side. So yeah, it's really weak. So Italians really are not capable of destroying tank or immobilizing tank. Okay, so another grape shot was able to eliminate the infantry. Very effective weapon. Surprised that it's that devastating against infantry even in this kind of weather. It spreads out pretty quickly and very fast, very wide, and it's really nowhere for infantry in the open ground to evade it. So yeah, it's pretty effective, and I don't know why I haven't really seen it before, but it's really interesting. I don't know whether it was actually historically widely used. Maybe it was only for a certain occasion. Yeah, so turn 27. I think war is going well. I mean, basically squeezing them from every direction. And these guys are out of position, so I think we want to take this area soon enough as far as the infantry can carry us. And here, just keep pouring in the shots. I think we have the situation under control. There's some anti-tank worry here, but then the anti-tank rifle is not powerful enough to... Maybe he's able to disable the tanks, immobilize it, but then I don't think he's able to penetrate the T-34 or even seriously damage the T-26. So we are set there. Here we are just rolling through while the rest of the troops near the bridge is engaged in heavy battle. I think we're going to overwhelm them soon enough. There's some area fire effect here going, and then some of the tanks are able to shoot it directly. And even this guy made it into the building and then now targeting it as soon as this guy appears. It's anti-tank, so I don't think it's going to pose any terrible threat against the infantry. And here we are still fighting while the rest of the group are traveling along the bank of the river to try to force it out. Yeah, still shooting at the defender at the church. Small arms fire, and one of the group has made it into the building finally, so it's going to be used as a nice entrenched position. And finally this crew, I think the machine gun crew, got suppressed, just pouring in the shots here using the numbers advantage. And here we find out some guys trying to, I don't know, get out of the objective building for some reason. And we immediately check it, send it back to the building where it came from. And further counterattack attempt on the part of Italians, so that we check them immediately using some machine gun fire. The machine gun fire doesn't seem to be that accurate or even lethal, but is able to check them very ably. So yeah, so progressing on all fronts. Kind of suspecting the Italians might bring some kind of armor support, I don't know. They haven't even started with their artillery, which I'm sure that they have. They have artillery spotter somewhere, but they haven't really brought down the artillery so far. Maybe because they think that there might be some kind of friendly fire situation. Yeah, it's pretty weird that they haven't brought down the artillery. I think it's going to happen sooner or later. Maybe if we take this objective, maybe they're gonna hurl some artillery barrage across the bridge, or even destroy the bridge. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty strange. So here we are just moving and trying to take the buildings and just move on. And here we're trying to close in to try to take that defender. And yeah, this church position seems to be is proving to be a very tough nut to crack. But I think we are closing in and then trying to force the defenders to get suppressed or even get routed. Because I'm sure that their morale is going down pretty quickly because of these kind of situations where they're just caught out in the open and get eliminated. Yeah, we're just moving in to try to link up with the other group in the north and then move in concerted fashion. And here in the south as well, we are moving in with the tank support. So then we'll be able to take the bridge pretty soon. And across the bridge, some battle still lingers here. Some scatter fire here and there. Yeah, these guys coming out. trying to challenge us, I don't know, from the flank for some reason. Maybe they have some grenades that they like to throw at the tanks or something, but it's not really working out for them. So another grape shot situation here. Shot is loaded here. Yeah, once again, eliminated. Check a pepper mill of death. Oh, okay, so tank here has been shot and knocked out. So what kind of gun is it? Is it from there or what kind of a gun? Oh, okay, so there's a light gun hiding amongst the scattered trees in the foxhole. So there's a new problem. Yeah, he's able to shoot second T-26 and blast it open, knocked out. So 2 tanks in quick order has been knocked out from this light tank's attack. So we have a new threat now on our hands. It's going to be very interesting how I respond. We have 1 tank, that direct line of sight toward that light gun. So I'm ordering it to shoot. But it's going to be pretty close because the light gun is probably a regular experienced crew, and I don't think I have enough tanks to actually bring down the overwhelming fire advantage that I have. So in the south, we are moving on a post. Business as usual. The tanks are going to close into the last defender, I think, on this side of the bridge, or last remaining defender that is able to actually fight and take that building. But then the problem is here, we are being faced with this regular gun who's able to defeat 2 tanks in a row. I think he's still targeting one of the knocked out tanks that he believes is not knocked out yet. But I think he soon realized that there's a new threat now. Yeah, the T-26 is now targeting directly. The T-34 is targeting in area effect. And I think it's really lucky that T-34 is just out of the line of sight of the light gun, because it surely would have targeted from the side. But then T-26 will have to do something about it. Okay, so he's targeting the T-26 now. He's turning to face it too at the same time. This guy's reversing. He's not able to challenge it. Okay, so he was able to destroy, the T-34 was able to destroy it using the high explosive shells. Very lucky indeed, because it's not really known to be that accurate. Yeah, it's really accurate. He was able to accurately shoot the heavy explosives, high explosive shell, and was able to destroy it. Very lucky, because the T-26 was in the danger of being knocked out, and I think the light gun in its last shot just missed it. Here, trying to use infantry to roll to the bridge. Yeah, they are able to just unbutton and then have the pretty good view down the road. And the second group makes it into the dilapidated building. He's able to support the rest of the infantry as they make it to the road. 1 T-37 has made it to the road unopposed, and I think it's just looking at the environment to wait for the infantry before moving. And here we are seeing some infantry on outside of the objective, although the game thinks that we already took it due to our presence in the vicinity, but still the infantry is there, so we need to drive it out completely. But yeah, we took 2 objectives now in this episode, very productive episode, using the tanks and the infantry to great effect. So here we are trying to even go further and then take it completely. Might have to prepare for some armor support that the Italians might have. I don't know when it is going to arrive, but the mission objective says something about armor, so I have to prepare for it. Cannot rule it out. Here, trying to use infantry to kind of surround the church. And this guy will have to do the same for the last objective. Although he says we took it, I don't think it's actually true, because there's some defenders hanging around there. Finally, we're bringing some guns, main guns. I had enough with this defender in the second floor of the building, so I'm bringing in the heavy guns. Shooting some high explosive shells may be enough to launch it out of its hiding position. Yeah, so we are shooting the main gun, unfortunately, for the church. still shooting back. Yeah, so he's pretty ably protected. Let's see what the tanks can do. Alright, so finally it is scared enough to run away, climb down the stairs, checked by the machine guns and whatnot as he tries to climb down. And in the north, we are able to find some stragglers, deal with them, moving close to take the objective, definitely for ourselves. Yeah, so I think we have this area pretty much locked down, surprisingly enough. Can't happen organically, but we are able to force the defenders out. And here we are able to use the building to shoot at the defenders from different angles, so they're more embattled. Maybe they're routed soon. And so didn't use a pepper mill there, but yeah, missed. So I guess that's why they're using the shotgun shells. Maybe it's run out of the shells or grape shot, whatever it is. Yeah, so we made it to the scattered trees. I don't know whether we are able to actually advance toward the church in the next few turns, but we have to try. So in the north, we are driving this guy away. So there has been another episode of Christmas Battle. Hope you enjoyed it. So we have made some good progress here. I don't know whether it's going to change in the in the next episode, because I'm still thinking that maybe the Italians will bring some artillery strike and armor to support them as they are now being embattled on all sides. Maybe we're going to have a smooth sailing, continue on with our current momentum. Although I lost 2 tanks, I think I was able to take some objectives here, and then just have to focus on the church. Once again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I can come back with the conclusion of Christmas Battle. So until then, please stay tuned.